우리는 backpackers, yeah we the backpackers. 내가 묻은 신발이 바래져도 backpacker. 우리는 backpackers, yeah we the backpackers. 지가방 안은 굳은 다짐이 the backpacker. 우리는 backpackers, yeah we the backpackers. 내가 묻은 신발이 바래져도 backpacker. 우리는 backpackers. 출발은 언제나 겁없이 시작부터 맨발. 내 눈에 싹 다 basic, 보다와의 step pipe. 뚫어진 내 black tie, 프로젝트만 necktie. 기본이 안 돼 있는 stupid, I'm ready to fire right. We be mobbing every day. 이 자린 꽤나 heavy.
Contracts are meant to protect people. They tell us what to do and what we must do when something goes wrong. But what happens if the signing of the contract involves someone that isn't allowed to do so? Well, in this case, we're going to learn about Leslie versus Shell, which is one of the most famous contract law cases that involves a minor. This case reminds us that not every agreement is enforceable, even if the money has already changed hands.
The case of Leslie versus Shell involved two individuals, Leslie and Shell. Shell was a minor, meaning he was under the age of 21 at the time and therefore did not have full legal capacity to enter into contracts. Leslie lent a sum of money to Shell under a contract. However, Shell used his money for ordinary expenses, not for necessities such as food, shelter, or education. Later, when Leslie tried to recover the money, Shell relied on a law that protects minors in contract law. Under common law, contracts made by minors are generally void or unenforceable except for contracts involving necessities. Leslie argued that although the contract itself might be unenforceable, Shell should still be required to return the money, since it would be unfair for him to keep it. This disagreement eventually led the parties to the court. The court had to decide one main legal issue. Can a lender recover money from a minor when the contract itself is unenforceable?
Please be seated. Mr. Matthew, you may begin. Mr. Matthew, are you asking the court to enforce the contract of loan?
My lords, this case concerns two loans made by the respondents to the appellants. The total sum advised was 400 pounds. The appellant obtained this money by falsely representing that he was over the age of 21 years old. At the time of the transaction, the appellant was perhaps an infant. We submitted that the defendant committed for an equity demand restitution. An infant should not be allowed to return money obtained by deliberate deception.
But is this claim not in substance connected to the contract?
My lord, the basis of our claim is not contractual. It is the defendant's contract conduct. Equally will not permit any person, even an infant, to benefit from its own fault.
You rely on equitable principle rather than contractual enforcement?
Yes, my lord. We say the defendant must restore the money because it was obtained dishonestly.
Mr. Doc,
My lords, the facts are not in dispute. The respondent was an infant at that time. The money was advanced. By operation of the Infants Relief Act 1874, a contract of loan with an infant is absolutely void. The appellant now attempt to recover the money by disguising a contractual claim as an action in fraud. This, my lord, is not permitted by law.
what of the argument that equity should prevent an infant from committing fraud?
My lords, the law draws a clear distinction where the alleged fraud is directly linked to the formation of the contract. The respondent cannot impose liability in tort or equity to achieve indirectly what the statute forbids directly. If this claim succeeds, the protection granted to infants by Parliament would be destroyed.
So your position is that no personal liability can arise at all?
Exactly, my lord. There is no liability in contract, tort, or equity. The action is in substance as contract to, and therefore barred.
Shell, were you under the age of 21 when the loan are taken?
Yes, my lord, I was a minor at that time.
The court is ready to give judgment. The claim before us, although framed as one in fraud or money had and received, is in substance an attempt to enforce a contractual obligation. The law is clear. An infant cannot be made liable upon a contract of loan, nor can such liability be imposed indirectly through tort or equity when the alleged fraud is inseparable from the contract itself. The Infant Relief Act 1874 provides complete protection to the infant in this case. No equitable obligation arise compel repayment.
I also agree. The appeal must be allowed.
Leslie vs. Shell demonstrate how contract can fail when the legal requirements are not met. Even though the contract was land and expectations were formed, the law had stepped in order to protect the minor from liability. This case reminds us that contracts are not just about agreement, it's also about capacity and legality. So before signing or landing the contract, always check the details. Because in contract law, when things go wrong, the consequences can be final.